मेरे हाथ में तेरा हाथ हो, सारी जन्नतें मेरे साथ हो, तू जो पास हो फिर क्या कहें ये जहान, तेरे प्यार में हो जाए फना और हो जाऊं फना, which means I want to get destroyed in your love. Well, love has the power to ignite our hearts, but what happens when dependency takes hold? Well, there are many such songs which dwells into the theme of codependency and an unhealthy attachment in a romantic relationship. Such lyrics and melody depicts a situation where one person becomes excessively dependent on their partner, losing their own identity and self-esteem. These songs highlights the need to break free from this cycle of codependency and rediscover one's individuality and inner strength for a healthier and more fulfilling life. Greetings, my friends, my fellow focus seekers. This is Prem Sai, your clarity and focus coach, and I'm excited to welcome you to the latest episode of Focus in Action, the podcast where we celebrate remarkable achievers who have turned their struggle into success with clarity and focus. Join me in welcoming an incredible human being, introducing our remarkable guest, Misba Shah.
Thank you so much.
With a remarkable journey from a humble background to becoming a mental health practitioner, psychotherapist, and a self love coach. Misbah brings a wealth of knowledge and expertise. She believes in the importance of maintaining a stable lifestyle and aims to inspire others to lead balanced and fulfilling lives. In today's episode, we will be exploring a thought provoking topic. Is romantic relationship is all about being dependent? Well, Misbah will be sharing her insights and expertise on this subject. With her background in mental health and personal growth, Misbah will share a unique perspective on the dynamics of romantic relationships and the role of dependency. So join us as we dive into an engaging discussion with Misbah, where we will gain valuable insights, challenge our conventional beliefs, and explore the nuances of romantic relationships. So, get ready to expand your understanding of romantic relationships and discover new perspective in this captivating episode of our podcast. Let's begin. So, welcome, Vispa. How are you doing
Thank you
today?
so much, Prem Sai. Thank you for having me here. I'm all set, all excited.
Great. So, Mispa, my first question to you is why this topic?
Why this topic? As earlier I was discussing with you, this topic came to my mind when we were discussing and when you had approached. So I was dealing with something to do with relationship, and it was not directly with romantic relationship, but it was with relationship. So I thought, why not relationship? And that's where I clubbed it with couples relationship or romantic relationship. And I think somewhere everything is about relationship.
Yeah.
Being a social being, it comes down to relationships.
True.
So that's how it this topic came up. And in fact, it was about dependency related something. So that's why I kind of said that, yeah, it completely makes sense that how we do get dependent in our relationships.
And how is it related to your relationship in your life? I mean, if you talk about romantic relationship, uh,
So I will talk in, yeah, I'll definitely answer that. I'll talk in phases. So I have been, to give you a brief, Prem Sai, I have grown up with my grandfather and my aunts. Um, I was born, brought up in Gujarat, if I can tell you that. And the atmosphere or the environment that we had there was quite cohesive yet open.
okay.
And there was in relationships quite independence. I mean, you are together, but you have the uh, choice to make your decisions. You are given that space to be there, and, and there's more so comfort that has been provided.
Mhm.
Then, so that was one phase where I had a liberty, I had a freedom, I had independence. In the relation, I knew the relationships are there, and I had the ability to go ahead and take the next step ahead in life, or whatever I wanted to do as a child, as a teenager.
So this was
Then
talking
came
about school days?
school days, yes, till
Okay.
my 12th, till my 12th.
Okay.
And then came a phase where I had to go out of the city because I was in a smaller city, and most of my friends were going out and studying, and I happened to had to come to my father's place, which is in Bombay.
Okay.
And I had never had a very close relationship with my father or his family that ways. So there is another story, lot of stories to it. If I
Mm-hmm.
go, I'm not going into that part right now. So here, the environment was completely different and dependent. So
Okay.
here to make any kind of choices,
Mm-hmm.
it was like to अगर कुछ पूछना भी है कुछ करना भी है तो lot of questions to were to be asked and they were to be answered. uh, there were a lot of uh, conditions that would come into picture.
So this
And
is talking about when you come, when you up Bombay, you came to Bombay.
yes, when I shifted to Mumbai, like I say 2 decades back.
Acha,
uh,
okay. Is it
yeah.
after marriage period or
No, no,
no?
no, no.
Okay.
This was after I did my 12th and I moved to Bombay for my first year of graduation to my
Okay.
father's place. So it was a completely different environment.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of dependence in the relationship. And that's how the entire environment of the house was also there.
Okay.
So it was like two extremes, like
Hmm.
from where I had come to where I am right now. And it created a lot of challenges for me as a
Mm-hmm.
person because uh, in as a person I am quite independent also,
Mm-hmm.
and to ask everyone at every step didn't come naturally to me.
Okay.
uh, right from your aunts asking you to Goa to your uncles asking you chacha, and then my dad asking. And so obviously I try to you know go about it in a manner in which it did not come in a way कि भाई कुछ अलग ही हो रहा है. But I did have lot of dependency on other people.
Okay, so let's break down Misbah the word dependency here, and
Hmm.
let's talk about ki if you can just highlight few because you have gone through that phase. If I may ask you, if you can highlight and break that dependency, what was happening within you? I mean, you were
It was
internally, emotionally, what was
I
going
was
on?
very charged emotionally. I was very charged. It felt at times quite stressful for a teenager,
Okay.
uh, for a 17, 18-year-old. Uh, it was at times quite suffocating for certain situations,
Mm-hmm.
like maybe to study more or study further, or to go out, or to have certain kind of friends, to wear certain kind of clothes, to think a certain way. That was also all of these were adding factors at that point of time.
And what did you do?
So I went by very very slowly in the process.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to blend in, uh, and I also tried to keep my uh, my beliefs or my independentness, if I can say, also intact. So I would contribute in whatever needed to be done at home. I would also do my college. I would also do my prayers. And I was not a person who used to pray. I mean, pray as in pray 5 times. Uh, you know, but it was not a problem for me. I am okay doing things till the time I get to do what I want. And my good to do at that point of time was, you are at that teenager, you want to be with your friends and you want to
Free bird.
explore new places, you want to, and I wanted to study. I was very clear with that because I had in mind कि मुझे MBA करना है. Because at that point of time, 2 decades back, it was very, very like, huh. And I come from a background of commerce and then MBA, and then I got into psychology. So there are a lot, I have come through different phases. So I did that slowly and slowly, consistently. I was able to be in a space where they would listen to me, and I was able to put it across. So there would some things that would happen the way I wanted. There would be some still that would take time to for them to adapt to understand, to digest कि मैं क्या बोल रही हूँ और वो क्या समझ रहे हैं. Plus, they also kind of come from a strict background, family background, religious background. So that was one of the factors also. And here in my grandfather's place, it was open-minded, yet with all the keeping things and everything in mind. मतलब it was a completely different environment at
Priorities.
both the places. Yes, 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 absolutely. It was like एक ईस्ट जा रहा है, एक वेस्ट जा रहा है, एक साउथ पोल जा रहा है, तो एक नॉर्थ पोल जा रहा है, वैसा था.
I'm
So
sure
that's
you, yeah, I'm sure you might have actually, just wanted to, ask you this, that when because people are at that age are also listening, would be listening to this podcast. So maybe a teenager, jo ki would be also struggling to put across his or her thoughts. And so, what exactly did you do? Any mistakes, or how did you adapt to it? If you can just make it very
I
simple
was
and doable.
yes.
Okay.
So I would say that as a teenager, uh, I I found out different ways of venting out possibly. Yeah, that if I felt angry or if I felt anxious or if I felt anything, I would speak to my friends who were there in college with me. I made few good friends at that point of time. Also, in this scenario, I was very patient. I was very, very patient. I don't know from where that came,
Hmm.
but I was very patient to make them see that those entire family of mine didn't have a earlier experience of me. They were also seeing me for the first time staying with them,
Mhm.
you know. And for me also, all of them were like, though they are relatives and blood relationship, they are new people for me.
Hmm.
So it's like you know, I mean, it doesn't make sense to say that, but it's like getting married into somebody's house.
Yeah, okay.
You know,
That's a good analogy.
yeah, it's like जब तुम शादी करके कहीं जाते हो, it was like that you have to understand each other from where they are coming or what their possibly challenges are, insecurities are, and where you are coming from and what your challenges are also. So
Hmm.
I think that it took about a good time to get into a space where we were in a better space actually.
Mhm.
um, I won't say that we were in a very great space, because yet I come from a thinking which is very, if say if we say I'm at step, somebody's at step one, I would be at 10 in thinking. So I'm very forward thinking that way.
Mhm.
uh, to somebody who's thinking very on a religious term.
Hmm.
So I still had to bring that balance, and I used to do everything, be a part of it. Uh, you know
Inclusiveness.
yes, be a part of it, because that's how, unless and until you don't bring them into your space or get in their space, it will not bring the alignment.
Okay, so when you say get in them into your space and you get into their space, is exactly what are the doable things that a person can do that, to make that happen? Like small little
नॉर्मल
things.
स्मॉल लिटिल थिंग्स लाइक, मतलब देखो, वो एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे थे, मैं सिंपल एग्जांपल देती हूँ.
Yeah.
वो एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे थे फॉर अ 17-18 year old या 19 year old for that matter to cook. I would do that. To help in household things, I would do that. To pray, okay, I would do that. uh, it was like there were certain things which I didn't want to, but I still did it. uh, I don't know why I did it for that matter. If I retrospected back, I'm like, oh wow, I seriously did that. I mean, looking
Did
at
it help?
myself, uh, I would say yes. I think everything that happened for the good,
Mhm.
to making you the person that you are right now. Because it is also an experience, whether you can say it's a comfortable or a uncomfortable experience, it's added some value to your life.
Yeah, because people those are listening to the podcast would be, in future when we telecast it, and people who would be listening would also have a question कि अगर करें तो कितना करें?
कितना करे वो तुम्हारे पे है डिपेंडेंट, कि तुम
Hmm.
कितना करना चाहते हो.
Okay.
Obviously you have to have your boundaries in place. It's not
Hmm.
and it's not that कि तुम बह जाओ.
Hmm. Can
wherein
you
the other
define
person,
this a bit
uh,
in if just
um,
to give perspective to the listeners, like because being into that space of mental health, we both can understand. We can break it down a little more
right.
simpler way to
Um,
people who.
Boundaries. So if somebody says something that you can't, it's not right to say. You have to put your foot down. Or first, if somebody says something ill about your loved one,
Hmm,
uh, if I were the person, I would definitely put my foot down. That all right. If you want to have a conversation, you have a conversation with me, but don't drag other people in between.
hmm,
Because if you don't tell, nobody is going to know.
hmm.
And it will सामने वाला जो जिसको जो बोलना होगा वो बोलेगा.
Right, right, yeah. Hmm,
So where you know that I can take this much, okay, take it. I
hmm,
can't take this, I can't take this.
hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
you have to
So,
have a boundary.
okay, so you can move ahead with your story. So that was the phase you and
That
you
was one phase.
one
That
phase.
was before I got married. Then after I got married, that's been almost like more than 14 years now.
Hmm,
And so again, I came back to now I can say I have come back to the first stage again, kind of, because
hmm,
I have that kind of, I'm back to being that independent person. But obviously, here also you have dependence on your partner. I would say 100% dependence. Um, it's it's about, as I gave you the analogy of getting married, and it's the same thing happened. Getting married, and in my case, I have gotten married to a Jain family coming from a Muslim family.
hmm,
So it's a complete like one end to other end. You're going in meeting, or you're trying to meet. So again, you are trying to understand their values. Uh, you're trying to take any decisions. You're going to make sure that um, it is keeping the welfare of everybody in mind,
hmm,
or it's not completely you. It's not all about you.
hmm, hmm,
So independence or independent doesn't mean all about you.
hmm.
So that's how the entire uh, journey has actually gone. In right now in three phases, I can say, you know, uh, it's been like that.
So, what were the challenges before coming to the this topic and discussing about in general? A bit more about what were you, because you have been married for 15, 16 years now,
14 years.
14 years.
14 years.
And so, considering that relationship, okay, so here I want to say is Nitin sir, so we know him, and Mispa is also my mentor. Nitin is also my mentor. So would like to ask you that did you face any challenges there, and how did you? So this question is for the women out there who can really understand about, are they in a illusion of understanding the interdependent and the codependency, which is unhealthy and this is healthy. How would a person know? Are they aware about it? So, uh, taking your relationship and talking about your challenges, can you just give some answers around that which would help others?
Okay.
Please
So
go
if
ahead.
you ask me one question, like what exactly, out of so many questions, if I can pick up one question, what would that one question be?
So, talking about your challenges,
My challenges after getting married.
yes.
Actually, it got easier for me because I
Okay.
had already come from the journey where I had
Okay.
come to my own
CEO.
family where
Okay.
I had to navigate and sail through and survive and be part of that life and their life. So it was that way easier for me. Yes, certain I won't say there were challenges, big time challenges or something. Um, uh, there's certain rituals, certain cultural differences, which I did it. In terms of what sometimes you have to follow as a newlywed or something.
Hmm.
Um, so I did all that because if I come with a belief that if you respect me or if you walk one step for me, I will walk two for you. And my in-laws that way have been quite good, blessed. that they have been quite supportive. And I was okay doing whatever I could in my capacity. Again, I will not say that I have gone out of the way for anything. Yeah, I can actually share one incident where,
That would be great.
uh, I was asked not by directly by my in-laws, but I think other relatives and everybody had. वो एक्चुअली ऐसा होता है ना कि शादी किसकी किसको फिक्र है ऐसा सब. They wanted me to change my name. And
अच्छा, हाँ,
I am a person for my name is everything for me. So I very, very clearly put my foot down. That is not happening. And post that there was no discussion.
wonderful.
And I might have been what 24 years old, 24, 25 years old when I got married. That is quite young for. I look back and feel like ज़्यादा जल्दी शादी कर ली थी.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So that is yeah. So I will talk about dependency in partners in the questions that come. I'm just right now talking about in the journey of this
Yeah.
phase
Yeah. Yeah.
and with other relationships.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So now let's, I would like you to ask this question, like, if we consider and if we think about women's perspective after getting married, um, few examples, right? So I've seen wives not, even if they're hungry, they do not eat until and unless their husbands eat. So I don't know, there's a cultural or from where that has come from. So considering these and many other examples, just about the
Hmm.
food and eating times and all that,
Yeah, I
apart
get
from
it.
that, many would be there. So how would we show some reflections and so that or we can discuss about that so that they can reflect on understanding their own and becoming self-aware about are they in any illusion about their romantic relationship and how do they identify that whether with some questions they need to ask because definitely these kind of relationship dependency is going to give them a big time later in life, I'm sure.
So I'll tell you. Okay. To the example that you said about women eating, not eating, though they are hungry.
Yeah, this is
If
one
you
kind of.
have to, if you have to see it, then it might come from the space of culturally or socially,
Hmm.
or how we have evolved, or if I don't want to put the religious factor also into it, but maybe that also influences to some level.
Yes.
um, but majorly it's culturally socially that we are brought up in that कि भाई जब तक तुम्हारा पति ना खाए तब तक तुम नहीं खाओ, या तुम्हारे घर वालों ने खाना नहीं खाया तब तक तुम ना
नहीं खाओ.
खाओ. Personal take, I don't believe in. So I understand. I'll tell you one thing, Prinsai. For me, marriage or relationship is a part of life. It is not my
Life
whole
itself.
life. It is not my whole life.
I totally resonate.
I have decided to have that part. Great. I have decided to have a career that is also part of my life. That is not my whole life. I've decided to be with a child or have a child. That's also a part of life. To become a mother or a friend. So I think there are different roles that we are um, seeking or playing. Uh, that is part of me as whole. Uh, to what you're saying, people having illusions of such things in the relationship. At times, they are consciously unaware.
Okay.
They are not aware. Now, especially, or I'll tell you, to make it a little simpler. काफी बार इल्यूजन होता भी है तो लोगों को पता भी होता है पर फिर भी वो इल्यूजन में रहना होता है.
हाँ, वो चूज करते
स्पेशली
हैं.
हाँ चूज करता है. और जो ज्यादातर जो रिसीविंग एंड पे होते हैं.
Okay, if you can give some example.
रिसीविंग एंड पे होते हैं कि लेट्स टेक अ सिंपल एग्जांपल कि जिनके हस्बैंड्स देयर इज एन अब्यूज, फिजिकल अब्यूज,
ओके।
तो उनकी वाइफ्स बोलेंगी अच्छा अम, ये तो मतलब कुछ हुआ होगा, टेंशन में है इसलिए मार रहा है, मुझसे प्यार करता है ना इसलिए मुझे ही मारेगा, किसको किसी और को जाके कैसे मारेगा.
या
नाउ टेकिंग दैट एज अ uh, taking it as it is, you know, that's not what relationships are about.
So
Or
when you
maybe some,
say, yeah, when you, so sorry to pause here. So when you say receiving end, are you talking about that the lady is dependent on that particular person in terms of money,
any in
finances,
any spouses, either of the spouses,
either
either
or
it's a
all
lady or a man,
men?
or I would say then there is another thing like other genders also, which
Hmm.
I'm not getting into.
Hmm.
So just in a relationship, any spouse who is on a receiving end, uh, कि मुझे कुछ बेनिफिट मिल रहा है, सो आई फील लव बिकॉज ही इज हिटिंग मी, दैट मेक्स मी फील लव बिकॉज वो मेरे से प्यार करता है, वो मुझे ही मारेगा ना और किसको मारेगा. दैट इज द वे दे लुक एट इट.
How can they circle out from this pattern then?
My first thing is that you have to acknowledge it,
Mhm.
that this is not working or this is not what it is to be in a relationship.
Yeah, because here I want to point out is one of my friend is there. And she works in a big corporate house and in a very senior position. And exactly her narratives are like that, the one that you said.
Then there would be, if I give you another example uh, of say a daughter who's gotten married, husband drinks, father used to drink, come home, make a scene uh, uh, at home, maybe beat up the mother, and the girl might have seen that same thing. The girl now sees the husband doing it with
Hmm.
her, so that mindset follows.
Yeah, they're not liking it, but at the same time, my question is like, how can that, how can they become conscious about that the relationship is not working or,
This is a sign that I'm not going to the relationship not working also. I am first saying that अगर ये हो रहा है तुम्हारे साथ, so that is a signal that this is not the right thing.
yeah,
Abuse of physical abuse or any of that kind,
yeah, yeah.
right? Um, Acknowledging it is the first step.
Hmm.
पहले acknowledge तो करो, and this is especially for um, uh, those who are at the receiving end. What I said, those who are at the giving end, उनको तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं पता होता है कि
Hmm.
हम रिलेशनशिप में हमें इल्यूजन है कि हम यू नो हमारा रिलेशनशिप बहुत अच्छा है, हम वो इल्यूजन में रह रहे हैं
Hmm.
बिकॉज वी आर एबल टू beat up our wives or say anything to our children or beat up our children or anything for that matter.
Hmm.
Those who are at the giving end of doing things,
Hmm.
उनको तो वो रियलाइजेशन होती ही नहीं है. तो पहले तो वो रियलाइजेशन हो जाए, अक्नॉलेज कर ले कि हाँ जो मैं हो रहा है वो सही नहीं है. और सेम थिंग गोस फॉर दोज हु आर एट द रिसीविंग एंड आल्सो कि भाई ये तो नहीं हो सकता.
Hmm. So what do you mean to say अगर वो खुद अपने आप को realize नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, is there a way that somebody can go and make them realize? And even that is also not happening because when
आ,
I spoke about that friend, we had a discussion and exactly the day that might have happened, that abuse might have happened, she had called me many times and we do have a discussion, but she said the same thing. मुझे नहीं मारेंगे तो किसको मारेंगे?
एग्जैक्टली द पॉइंट बट देन सो इन उसमें प्रेम से आप और मैं कुछ नहीं कर सकते. व्हेन यू से कि हम क्या कर सकते हैं, हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते.
कुछ नहीं कर
दैट
सकते.
रियलाइजेशन हैज टू कम फ्रॉम द पर्सन,
Okay.
एंड राइट नाउ द पर्सन इज इन द इल्यूजन
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
बिकॉज दैट इज देयर डिपेंडेंसी ऑन देम.
Hmm. Okay, so this is about the post, the post impact of when you already get into a relationship and then you experience. Let's come back to take preventive measures for the youngsters or maybe who are in love or who are getting ready to get married. When we talk about romantic, I'm just emphasizing more on that. It can be any. What are the key factors that they should really look or maybe check. I don't know because it's live. Litmus test तो नहीं हो सकता, but then at least some preventive measures so that they do not have the illusion. Because मैंने अपने खुद के कुछ youngsters को whom I know, I've seen that the girl becomes very happy जब उसका boyfriend blood से चिट्ठी लिखता है saying I love you and all that. So what I'm saying is, before entering, or maybe those 1, 2, 3, some thing that they can really do about, just to really understand about that they're entering to a matured kind of relationship which is going to really impact their life, for that matter. So
And
what can
since
be done for that?
it is actually see, get relationships happen at a multiple level, and which age you are at that age you will there are certain things that you're looking at. When you are at your 14, 15, there is something, it's completely different. Maybe you are in your 20s, mid 20s, it was going to be different. 30s, by the time you reach your 40s, it's going to be something different. So in general, romantic relationship is about respect, understanding, communication. It is based on all of that.
So when we
I'm
talk
talking.
about respect, communication, understanding, any doable, simple things that they can really test on, that how is it going, and then they can take a call on that, or maybe they can keep this in mind
They
when
need
they're
to
entering
keep
to a
this in
relationship.
mind.
Hmm.
You before so yeah, they need to keep this in mind before you get enter into any of the relationship. अब ऐसा तो है नहीं कि हम सोच समझ के relationships में जाते हैं. You know, there's entire phase of that happens of attractions and all that that you have studied, the
So
fact
प्यार
the
किया
honeymoon
नहीं
and all
जाता,
of
प्यार
that.
हो जाता है kind of.
Exactly, that is the point. But once, so either with actually you've made it formal or official, you have to have that kind of understanding with yourself first. How much priority or love or respect do you give yourself? That is going to reflect in what you're expecting out of a relationship.
Okay. Can you elaborate a bit more on this?
It's about say self-love, your self-understanding, your self-worth. If the XYZ person is treating me a bad way and I'm okay with it, तो मैं अपने आप को क्या मेरी अपने आप में क्या इज्जत है, या how do I look at myself?
Okay, so in extreme cases, it is very easily understandable, but there are also
There are going to be telltale signs.
Yeah,
Like there are going to be telltale signs. There are going to be red flags. These are all the places where you need to think about it. And if you have a doubt, you need to sit down and speak to the person. And if you have to set boundaries, you have to set boundaries. And it needs to be very clearly communicated. That's where your communication comes into picture. It's like कि सामने वाला समझ लेगा, उसको समझ में आता होता तो उसने ये किया नहीं होता शायद.
हाँ, हाँ, because कभी-कभी मिसबा ऐसा भी होता है कि there is no extreme abuse signs, but otherwise, just like the normal maybe, the lady would not be liking, or maybe the men of the house is not liking something. It could be in any relationship for that matter. So there would be signs, right? And exactly, like what are the things that they can really, think about, or maybe consider about that? How is their relationship going on?
Same thing. Are they loved? Are they respected? Are they understood? Are they able to communicate? And is the other person communicating with them?
To talk and communicate about,
yes,
the heart out. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
That is
considering this, if you are into that kind of relationship, and if you're already into that, anybody, how does this dependency impact the individual growth of that particular person moving forward?
Which particular person? Which
any particular person? Dependency, like if they are into that codependency where they might be struggling with certain kind of not able to communicate, or maybe in such a relationship where they're not respected, how does that impact uh, to their life in total? Just a holistic question, like how does it impact your the journey of life in terms of all the roles that a person will be playing?
Uh, so if I'm understanding it correctly, uh, for if I am, say, for example, dependent on some codependency, and how it is going to affect my personal growth. Now, there is, as I said, my codependency. So, in general, codependency or unhealthy dependency would be something that um, where I am. Uh, what can I say? There could be different kind of dependencies. There could be a cultural dependency, social dependency, financial dependency, emotional dependency in relationships. Um, yeah, all of that could be there. Now, I can be independent, yet I am codependent on my family, my partner. Because if I have to take a certain decision, I have to now keep in mind what is going to be, as I earlier said, uh, okay, I have to do good for me, but I have to also take care that the other things are also not affected. Other people are not affected in a wrong way in
Mm-hmm.
my taking any particular decision. So I have to make sure that I come up with a solution where मुझे जो करना है वो भी हो रहा है, plus it doesn't negatively affect it, because in a relationship it's not just about you taking a independent decision. It is about that decision is going to impact your partner also.
Striking a balance in your ecosystem.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that is important.
And then that's very complex as well.
It is. I'm not going to say that it is not.
Hmm.
It also comes from the place where if I have to take a decision, um, um, I don't know, how do I say that? I am able to communicate also. I think communication plays
Very
important role.
important. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, am I confident enough in what I want to do? So
Clarity.
again, clarity, yes. Also, self love, self acceptance also plays the image that you have of yourself. Uh,
Self-esteem talking about?
yes, yes, yes. The image you have of yourself, your self love, your self esteem, your self worth, your self acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
जब तक मैं अपने आप को एक्सेप्ट नहीं कर सकती या करूंगी
Right.
जिस तरीके से मुझे करना चाहिए, आई विल फाइंड इट चैलेंजिंग टू डू इट फॉर द अदर.
Absolutely. Yeah, I do, because through you, you understand others.
Yeah, if I don't have clarity of what I am or what I want or what I want to do or my priorities,
Hmm.
I will not be in a position to communicate to the other person or understand, for that matter, my partner, where for my partner is also coming.
Yeah.
Right? If I have that, I'm full of love, and मेरा love का घड़ा भरा हुआ है, तभी जाके मैं आगे बांट सकती हूँ उसको. Yeah, I can show that. Uh, if I feel low in myself, then it is obviously going to reflect at times in my relationship. At times, it my past packages can also reflect in the relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah. उसके लिए obviously one has to first acknowledge that there's something that is not working. Once you've acknowledged, there are different ways of um, you know getting that clarity, getting that awareness by yourself to work on your relationship. Like you can do talk about, uh, you can do your love languages. You can do your और क्या होता है. I'm not going to get into suggestibility and sexuality. Maybe I can share the links of those topics that will help the people to
Yeah, that would be
understand
great. Yeah.
that when from where they are coming as an individual or as partners or as each of the spouse, and that will give them more clarity. अगर लगता है कि नहीं मुझे इससे ज्यादा और कुछ चाहिए, then obviously it's a good idea to seek consult a relationship expert or a therapist or a coach who will help them to navigate through their common goals or their individual goals
Yeah.
that they're trying to achieve.
Yeah. So what I hear is acknowledging is the first thing, acceptance is the first thing. Where are you now? And where do you want to go? The clarity is very important. And then you can build upon that by communicating and then by finding different solutions wherein you get a clarity about what you want by doing certain things, or maybe talking to people, or maybe interacting, or maybe consulting a therapist to be more precise if you are absolutely into something and you want to come out and circle out of that. And apart from that, I think Misbah is going to also share some links over there. I think that is going to help.
I'll share one link which will help the viewers to create awareness about where they are, or where what's working, what's not working for them,
Not
and at least
working.
that will give them the clarity. And
Yes.
if there is more need, as I said, that it would be any day a good idea to consult like expert, somebody's expert in relationship counseling or coaching.
Yeah. And to add is also understanding your love language and also your partner's love language, because that's
Yes,
very important. At times, what happens, we think that our partners doesn't love us, but they show the love in a different form, which we
yes,
are not
absolutely.
aligned to it. Even that also is a
Yes.
very important factor that we need to understand. And I think there are certain books, I don't remember the name of the book, but
The book of To Know Your Love Languages is this Five Love Languages by Gary Chapman.
oh yeah,
Uh,
yes, I
yeah,
remember.
you guys can actually you find it in the hard copy, you'll find it in the soft copy on Amazon also. In fact, it's available free also online, if I'm not wrong, on their site, on their website. In
Great.
fact, people can actually take a test for themselves that what are their love languages, and maybe pass it on to their partner and so and check it what is their partner's love
Yes,
language. At least to know that by
where
from
are
where
you
they
now?
come.
Hmm.
Yeah, where are you now? Out
And
of
at the
all the
same time,
five.
I think this particular book was going to help you. Even the link that you're going to share and all the pointers that
I
you
will, I will,
put right
I will
here in
share
the
it.
podcast is going to help to the youngster as well, just to understand that
Absolutely.
are they going in the same direction that they want to really go, or just to have a check on that, where am I going, and if any edits are required, that they can do that right there, moving forward. So
Yeah.
okay, so one question that I would like to know from you, that how do you balance all the roles in your life? Developing this um, the right balance of the role of a psychotherapist, of a wife, of an
Uh,
individual, considering the interdependency at the same time, also nurturing the relationship that you are into, playing those roles.
uh, yeah, I think I've come, or we have come long way. And what majorly has played a good thing for us is that we are in the field of mental health,
Hmm.
and
That
that
helps.
has brought us, that brings that awareness, that brings that kind of compassion, maybe patience, to understand.
Mhm.
Uh, uh, it's not that we don't fight, we do
Mm,
fight,
mm.
because we work together also. So
Yeah. Yeah.
we come from a very different perspective that way. But yes, again, it comes down to what is important for you. Uh, how you want to, if your relationship is important enough, you are going to give at least the first bit of it that is required. Um, in as a person, I am quite a spontaneous person. So I can keep on jumping from one place to other.
Hmm.
Uh, that ways, it can also at times be very catchy because you are required somewhere and you are at some other place.
Okay.
But yeah, you are always in a position where uh, also we sit down, we talk, we agree to disagree on certain things. Uh, we have certain if we have certain things. In fact, the love languages has played an important role in our lives. Um, Sexuality, suggestibility has played an important role in that from where we come. Culturally, coming from different backgrounds and mindsets
Hmm.
is also something that now we understand of each other. And now it also now means that अगर मुझे ये चीज अपने पार्टनर की समझ में नहीं आती है, अच्छी नहीं लगती है, तो is it something that I want to give more of my attention and focus to? Can that be let on? Because see, no relationship is going to be 100%.
Yeah, yeah.
कोई
It's
नहीं बोल
no
सकता कि
idealism.
ऐसा सब कुछ
No.
मिलने वाला है, नहीं होगा. So
Hmm.
you are choosing what is your priority in the relationship, and you are letting go of uh, what is what can be let go on of. Now,
Hmm.
if have to make sure. So in fact, I will just share the incident. I was talking to Nitin in the afternoon, and I was just sharing the questions, and तो मैंने उसको बोला हाँ, आई वाज जस्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट, मैंने बोला कि हाँ, जब पार्टनर तुम्हारा दिन में नहाने को बोले वो रात को नहाने जाता है तो इज इट अग्रीएबल? ही इज लाइक हाँ हाँ, दैट कैन आल्सो बी अ प्रॉब्लम। मैंने बोला या राइट, इट कैन बी अ प्रॉब्लम, बट कैन दैट प्रॉब्लम बी लेट गॉड? यस, दैट कैन बी लेट गॉड, इट्स ओके। आई मीन, इज इट समथिंग दैट यू, अगर वो मेरे लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है तो देन इट बिकम्स अ प्रायोरिटी फॉर मी कि यार तुम वो तो कर नहीं सकते हो, यू हैव टू टेक योर बात इन द मॉर्निंग, यू हैव टू टेक योर बात इन द मॉर्निंग।
Hmm.
एंड इफ यू फील दैट नहीं ओवरऑल भाई ठीक है,
Can be
अपना
communicated.
relationship and everything else, other areas are working smooth and decent and nice, then that can be let go. uh, so let go.
Yeah, and to add is also like यहाँ पे I think usually when we talk about it, it's like primary, secondary, and tertiary. So what are the primary values that you cannot really agree on? It has to be done. Like for example, for me, honesty, integrity. And कोई अगर झूठ बोलता होगा वो the very all the time, so I cannot actually stand. So you need to, anybody who's listening to the podcast or maybe the new ones who are entering to this relationship can really figure it out that what are the things that you're okay to ignore and that works
Yes,
for
your
you.
beliefs,
Your beliefs.
something, the things that you believe in,
Yeah.
and this is also going to be very subjective, Prem Sai.
Yes.
It is going to
Yes.
be different for you. It's going to be different for me. It's going to be different for somebody who is an 18-year-old and a 25-year-old, and
Absolutely.
it is going to evolve through days and
Yes.
every
Of
day.
course. Yes. Yes.
It's not going to be what I was maybe 10 years down the lane to what I'm right now. It can be completely different.
Mhm. Yeah, because if I look back to 10 years pehle when Raj was, he's a good critic because he speak less and I am a trainer तो मैं बोलती हूँ. So whenever you I really jump and with excitement I say कि अरे मुझे ऐसा idea आया, then he would ask one question and then after the whole casual ये हो जाता है, oh okay, I didn't think about this. So it happens like that. And being a coach, when he does something and then I ask a question, that would look at me and he said like, okay, ठीक है. So it's like something has hit
Yeah.
him hard at that point of time. So absolutely true that you need to really see what works for you. That's very important.
It is very subjective.
It is
Uh,
very subjective and it changes. The
it
change is
changes, and
inevitable.
the relationship evolves through the
It
years. It's
evolves.
not going to be
The same.
so same what I got married at that time or before marriage when we were dating or courting. It was completely different to what we are right now. It's vast difference,
And
and
and it
I
don't
think
get
it's been a
fixed.
long way.
Yeah, and don't get stuck to to your partners like तुम बदल गए आज गुलाब फूल
वो
मिला
बदलेगा ही,
वो
वो
बदलेगा
बदलेगा ही।
ही.
अगर नहीं बदला तो मुझे लगेगा यार ये तो बहुत मोनोटोनस है। मतलब
Exactly.
ये तो बहुत मतलब बोरिंग हो जाएगा फॉर अ पर्सन हू इज वेरी डायनामिक इन नेचर एंड वेरी, एंड एज आई सेड आई एम वेरी स्पॉन्टेनियस, सो
Yeah.
आई नीड दैट चेंज। एंड अगर नहीं बदला और चेंज नहीं हुआ तो मुझे ऐसा लगा क्या हो रहा है।
Yeah, yeah. I think it starts with love, Mispa, and then it converts it into care and other things because obviously वो I love you से लेके वो caring में आ जाएगा and you're going to see that in the different little things when you live life with your
Again,
partner, many other things.
yes, so it would be again depending on the love language.
Yeah, yeah, correct, correct.
Yeah, it
Absolutely.
is going to be different for, I'll tell you, for a person like me it's going to be act of service from the love language, and
Hmm.
for a person like my husband it is going to be words. So
There it
we
is.
come from a very different love language,
Hmm. Hmm.
but yeah, it works for us, I think.
Okay. So one
Or
last
if
question, and then we'll move to the very interesting segment of the podcast. So this last question is: can you just quickly share one or two practical strategies or exercise that individual or couple can? When I talk about
sure.
asking this question, you just give me some doable things which anyone can do if they are not married even, or maybe considering any relationship, or just one or two things that really can help them focus.
I just said ना अभी I think we just covered it कि प्रेम से अगर आप relationship में already हो या as a youngster you're planning to get into a relationship and get your girlfriends and boyfriends and all that, I think you can go through the Gary Chapman book,
That's the
uh,
first thing.
the love languages.
Hmm.
I will share the link. उसमें आर्टिकल है अबाउट ultimate guide to relationship.
Okay.
It talks about how aspects of as an individual as different partners. Now, the topics of suggestibility and sexuality is covered, and how we are as an individual evolved. So it talks about all of that. It will give them idea about first themselves. एंड देन वंस यू हैव एन आइडिया अबाउट योरसेल्फ, अवेयरनेस अबाउट योरसेल्फ कि मैं कैसा हूँ या कैसी हूँ, कि मुझे क्या चाहिए, मुझे क्या नहीं चाहिए, या मेरे लिए क्या सही बैठता है, क्या नहीं सही बैठता है, मेरी लव लैंग्वेज क्या है, क्या नहीं है, क्या मैं एक्सपेक्ट करता हूँ अपने आप से और फिर दूसरे से, अगले बंदे से जिसको मैं मिलने वाला हूँ या मिलने वाली हूँ, देन इट बिकम्स अ लिटिल मोर easier, clear to go out and look into it.
Look into it. So knowing self is the first step.
Because if I don't know who I am, then it becomes difficult for me to deal with myself as well as with the other person also. I might make I might make other person's life and my life more miserable in the process.
I think in that case you are three. So you versus you and the other person. Okay. So that was a great discussion, Misba, and I'm coming down to this rapid fire fun question. So I'll have
All right.
Maybe 2 or 3 for you. So this is very impromptu. जो भी दिमाग में आता है, just share it.
As I said.
So if you had to create a romantic comedy movie about dependency in relationship, what would that wacky plot be? और maybe movie का नाम क्या हो सकता है यार?
मूवी का नाम क्या हो सकता है? तू मेरे पीछे, मैं तेरे पीछे.
This is interesting यार. ऐसा कुछ मूवी है तो नहीं? I think so.
नहीं.
Okay, so तू मेरे पीछे, मैं तेरे पीछे. Wow, this is good. Okay, and the second question is, if you could rewrite the traditional wedding vows, फेरे, to include a humorous twist on dependency, how would they go? Now, I don't know कि वो 7 फेरे में क्या-क्या वचन होता है, शादी तो कर ली है. But then if you want to write something and, you know.
I will not get into writing any in phases. It's about whether you want to do it or not.
Okay. 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 And the third and the final one is.
So for me, it is just to add to it. It is for me. It is about. I totally respect and all that. That's not the point. But it is about whether you want to do that or not. Simple. You ask yourself, तुमने करना है कि नहीं करना?
It's your call.
It's your call, and you will get your answer.
Okay. And the last one, a very interesting one. What's the most amusing or unconventional way you have seen a couple resolve a disagreement? या आपने ऐसा किया हो कुछ ऐसे रिजॉल्व किया है बड़े फनी वे से, बाद में बहुत हंसी आई.
So we basically do unconventional way. तो पता नहीं हमारा unconventional है, तो हम साथ में बैठ के खाना खा लेते हैं, या तो फिर हम मूवी देखने चले जाते हैं. So because that break, yeah, and then we talk about it maybe after that or maybe next day.
और हम if I talk about me and my husband, if I would like to answer this, मैं भूल जाती हूँ बाद में कि झगड़ा हुआ है.
नहीं, मैं भूलती नहीं हूँ, उसको रिजॉल्व करना जरूरी है.
Okay, great. Awesome. So thank you so much, Misba. It was a wonderful discussion with you. It's a very important topic, in fact. So the takeaway, just to summarize here, is I think acknowledging is the first thing to realize where you are. And respect communication is very important thing in the relationship that you are getting into. Moreover, Misba is going to share a link and also the name of the book. I think anybody and everybody in whatever phase you are into, you must go and read this book. This is going to add value to your relationship that you are into. So that knowing self is the first wisdom. Because when you know yourself, you get a clarity. And when you get a clarity, you know where to focus on. And then when you know where to focus on, then you can build upon that. And that's where focus in action comes into picture. And you can really start evolving in the process of relationship. So thank you so much, Misba. And
thank you,
would you like to add something as a sentence, or maybe for all the listeners, one or two?
I
The last word.
I think being in a relationship is good if you want to be. First of all, that is important. Being single is also absolutely good. Being in a relationship is fantastic. But then being in a relationship, and especially if you've gotten married and if you're in a committed relationship, it's about choosing every day.
It's a decision making choices every single day. Yeah, yeah.
It's a making choice every single day for the same person.
Interesting. Yes.
It's
Yes.
about choosing the other person. I like whatever it is. Yeah, okay.
And even if you're single, even then also relationship with
It's
yourself.
that is the for sure your relationship with yourself. But I'm talking about in relationship with partners, and especially because every day is not going to be the same day. It's going to be different.
Yeah.
And that is where there is a realization going to come. अच्छा ठीक है हाँ ये ऐसा होता है.
शादी के
And
लिए.
find yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So making
खाना है खा
choices.
लो नहीं खाना है मत खाओ,
But
but it's fine. Either way is fine. Again, it's the choice.
It's the choice. And then aligning your choices to your bigger picture that you are really looking for.
Yeah. So you should always have your, your growth path personally, your individual growth path there, along with everything, as I said, that it's going to be part
Aligning
of
to
your
your
life.
ecosystem.
Yes.
Beautiful, Misba. Thank you so much for this
Thank you so much,
wonderful discussion. And I think definitely youngsters, teenagers who are might be thinking of, and also the 20s and the 30s and the 40s, men, women, all would benefit from this discussion. And we'll meet soon for a few more topics, and I'll definitely
Absolutely. I'm looking forward.
invite you for that. And thank you so much.
Thank you so